Recently, a clip has been going around of Brendan Schaub saying Alexandre Pantoja knocked out Islam Makhachev, and he's been getting roasted on social media over it. Brendan is thinking of Adriano Martins, who KO'd Islam back in 2015.
Brand Moreno, Pantoja. You know who Pantoja beat, right?
No.
Makhachev knocked him out.
Oh,
ever heard of him?
A long time ago.
Doesn't matter. Still knocked him out.
Yeah.
That's how bad that motherfucker is.
Damn.
Justin Gaethje recently did an interview discussing Islam and made fun of Brendan in the process. Gaethje said if we're going to go off what we know, then it's going to be Alexander Volkanovski because he's already fought him and it was a really close fight. I've never fought him. Poirier's never fought him. I guess if you want to say someone, it could be the 125-pound champion Alexandre Pantoja, who knocked him out. I was going to make fun of Brendan Schaub. I've made fun of him so much. I think Volkanovski is the answer for now, but I can't wait to get in there. I know for a fact he's not Khabib, and I want to go in there and prove that. The UFC isn't going to protect you. It's just the name of the game. You got to take time between these fights. Not just the fights, but the training camp we just went through. I've been through 12 weeks of training, extremely hard, 6 days a week, and your body gets broken down. It's something that you really got to focus on is understanding you got to go through the healing process every single time you step in there. The physical aspect, but I would say even the mental aspect, is a traumatic life experience every time you step in there, and you really got to take some time to heal every time you do that. Following his successful middleweight debut at UFC London, Paul Craig welcomes any middleweight to try to take him down, including Khamzat Chimaev.
Khamzat's here tonight. That would be a really interesting stylistic matchup because that kind of plays right into your speciality, doesn't it? Is that a fight that you'd like down the line?
Yeah, everybody in the middleweights get an opportunity to fight me. Who knows where we'll be put onto the division? Maybe we're back in the top 15 in there. Number 9 in the light heavyweights, maybe in the top 15 in middleweights. We'll find out on Monday. But anybody in front of me, that's who I'm looking to take on. And if it is Khamzat and he takes me down, there's a good chance that he's going to get triangled. My jiu-jitsu, I never had faith in my jiu-jitsu, and it's starting to build up. You know, people say Paul's a good jiu-jitsu, but you'd always doubt your abilities. And this fight here was one of the ones where I was like, right, if I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, I must be able to defend, and I must be able to attack, and I must be able to win fights. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy who is dangerous in MMA.
Sean O'Malley on the Bro Malley Show gives his take on what should be next for Paddy Pimblett. O'Malley advises Paddy to not take a fight against Drew Dober.
UFC's Drew Dober dares Paddy Pimblett to find his courage and take a fight with me. I mean, you can't give Paddy Drew Dober coming off this surgery. You got to let Paddy build up. So it's hard to say who do you give Paddy. Paddy versus Jakar. Our buddy Jakar would be a sweet fight. I know Matt Frevola has been trying to get that fight forever.
I don't think I even.
You can almost give Terrence McKinney. I know he's coming off two losses, right? And he's bigger name. I mean, you haven't really heard anything from Paddy.
Just still recovering.
I saw that he said he's done gaining weight out of camp.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I've been saying it. I knew I felt like he was gonna get to that point. You have to make that decision for yourself. That you can't hear it from me or someone else. Like, dude, you can't do that. You gotta realize it yourself and experience. Like, damn, I can't do that. And it seems like he did. He kind of came to that conclusion, so that's good news for Paddy fans.
Hopefully we get to see him in the octagon, probably next year, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm assuming next year.
Renato Moicano believes whoever loses between Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje is going to retire.
So I think even though it's going to be a very hard grinding fight, Poirier got the edge, especially because he got better hands. So if he can check the kicks, keeping the fight on the striking, on the boxing distance, I think Poirier have the better boxing, the defensive boxing, he defend better. But it's crazy to see the fighting at that point again because they lost to the same people, Khabib and Oliveira. They both have interim belts. They both are pretty accomplished in UFC. They both are very, very, very fan favorites. Everybody loves them. The fans just love them. And they are very excited to watch. So that's going to be a really, really good main event. And I think the BMF is suited them very well. That's a good fight for the BMF title. But again, I think the winner of the fight going to have one more shot to the belt, the winner of Charles or Islam, most likely Islam, and the loser probably retires or do one more fight to get a win and don't fight anymore, because at this point new dogs are coming to the division and they want to take the numbers, and I feel that is not much to prove for both of the athletes. Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier very well accomplished, and I think that is not much, you know?
Henry Cejudo breaks down Alex Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz. Henry believes that Pereira will get the win.
Biggest strength is his left hook and his right calf kick. But when I tell you about his biggest strength, like they're right there. I mean, a 2-division glory world champ, you know, that has power, that's just not a point fighter, that has that nasty left hook, and he'll go to the bottom, and he'll eventually kind of kick you. He trains with Glover Teixeira, who defeated Jan Blachowicz at UFC 267. I mean, that's big, man. That's big. Even though he doesn't have the style of a guy like Glover Teixeira, he's training with somebody in grappling that has better grappling than the opponent that he's actually fighting. Strengths of Jan Blachowicz, MMA experience right away with 30 more fights. With 30 more fights that Jan has. Wow, I mean, 30 more fights is a lot, man. His other strength is his grappling, his wrestling. He landed 3 takedowns versus Izzy, and I think that's going to be one of the kryptonites if he does decide to give that game plan to a guy like Alex Pereira. It's just hard. This is a hard decision. I just don't know sometimes the Polish power, whether he shows up or not. I've seen it in the past not fight the fight. I've seen him not make those adjustments. So for that reason, I got to go with Alexander Poltan.
Molly McCann has released a statement since her loss to Yulia Stolyarenko over the weekend. Molly responds to the quote-unquote keyboard warriors who have been giving her backlash over the past few days. Molly posted this to her Instagram. She wrote, "Now that the dust settled, I'd like to thank the UFC staff and all at TNT Sports for the opportunity to co-main at the O2 in front of the best fans in the world. If you could only imagine the sacrifices and work that went into the build-up and that fight camp, I can't quite put into words. However, I will try to sum it up. I have always had the toughest road and journey in life. That's just the Molly McCann way, and I'm okay with that. The highs are the highest and the lows, well, I don't think I have words to do the pain and hurt justice, but dare to dream. If there's one thing I know, it's how to always overcome adversity, and this is no different. 20 months ago, I was sitting in the same position, 2 back-to-back losses, and ready to pack it in. Then a boss run and my world changed forever. We have one more adjustment to make, and I believe that will make all the difference in the world. The smallest in the division makes it tough when the opponents are so much bigger. So for me, it's time to drop down and face the girls who are the same size. To all the keyboard warriors who will give me down the banks and want to tell me about myself, go ahead. I'm living my dream every single day. I'm winning in life. The best team around me. The best promotion in the world. This game has given me everything, and I am beyond blessed. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post future ones. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Zexter33. It says, "Bro, they fed Molly a can and she still lost. I'm sorry, but she isn't UFC caliber. Neither is Paddy while we're at it." The second one's from Mikey George. It says, "I'm from England, but the way Meathead was acting on the lead up to this downfall was just embarrassing." And the final one's from Ground Game Over Stand Up. It says, "I find it hilarious that the UFC deliberately wanted Molly to win by matching her up with Yulia, but then loses in this fashion. Congrats, Yulia." Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured on the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. If you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen to get caught up. And make sure to go subscribe to our second channel where we post our exclusive MMA interviews.